why you need to be using one for your savings. So this is Capital One because this is where I have my money. And you can see that they have a standard checking account, which is 0.10% interest, which is incredibly low. But then they also have a high yield savings, which is 4.25% interest, which is quite high, actually. And if you don't understand why this makes such a huge difference, I highly recommend coming over to calculator.net, looking for their investment calculator, and playing around with these numbers. So if you say to me, like, Caitlin, I'm a 20-year-old, I only have $100. Okay, cool. You're a 20-year-old, so let's say you want to retire at 65, which if you're a 20-year-old might be ambitious. They might be trying to make you work until you're 75. But we're going to say you're working for another 45 years, and your return rate is, as we saw, 4.25. That's compounding monthly. And you're going to put in another, say you're going to put in another $10 at the end of each month. Okay? So let's calculate that. Okay, so that means that at the end of 45 years, you're going to have in this account $17,000. You started with 100 and you added in 5,400. That means that in total, you added 5,500 and the interest was 11,400. That's on $10 per month. Yeah? So you can see here the full pie graph. 1% is your starting amount, 32% is your contributions, and 67% is interest. Now let's say that we do that exact same calculation, but instead we're using a regular checking account at 0.10%. So you're still starting with the same amount for the same number of years, the same contribution every month. Okay. So now you have 5,600 at the end. You added the same 5,500 and all you earned on interest was $127. And I cannot stress enough how important it is to understand these things and be wise with your money. Now, if you want to get more ambitious, you can look at the S&P 500. The S&P 500 basically tracks 500 of the largest stocks in the US, and so you'll have to open certain accounts to be able to invest here, but you can do it. And if you look at, this is more volatile because it's tracking stocks, but you need to remember that you're committing to this long term. So if you look at the average annual return over the last 30 years, it's 10.47%. That's not guaranteed, but that's average over quite a long period of time. So let's imagine that we do this same exact investment, but instead we're going to put it into the S&P 500. So we're going to say a 10.47% return. Now, we have nearly $135,000 at the end. We still contributed the same $5,500, but in interest, we got $129,143. Now, again, this is not guaranteed because it's volatile. This is just an average return, but you can see how much more you're going to get if you make a riskier investment. Over to calculator.net and looking at this investment calculator, because you can change how you're looking at it. You can say that my target is $1 million. What do I need to contribute to get there? You can say, what rate do I need to get there? You can say, what do I need to start with to get there? You can say, how long do I need to invest to get there? And you can keep changing all of these numbers, right? You're saying, no, I actually want, oh, that's not enough zeros. I actually want, whoa, another zero. I actually want $2 million. So how long do I need to invest for at that rate? Oh, you need to invest for 70 years. Okay. And then we're going to add, instead of 10, we're going to add 100 per month. Okay, so now we're at 50 years. Yeah, I mean, that's doable. How long do you have to work for as a 20-year-old? Not quite there, but you could leave it for a few more years, right? And then you're at $2 million. Pretty cool, right? Anyways, I recommend playing around with it. I look at it all the time. I think it's super fun.